Hi, how are you? 小朋友，你好嗎？今堂課 is story time. I would like you to watch a video from YouTube. The title of the story is The Happy Prince. In this story, the hero is not a real person, but a statue. The statue of the prince have emerald eyes and golden clothes, and he was holding a sword with a ruby. Another main character of the story is a swallow. They were friends, and they helped the sick and the poor. While watching the video, I would like you to take notes about number 1, the two characters in the story. Number 2, some keywords you want to attain. And answer 2 questions. Number 1, why did the prince statue cry so often? Number 2, why does the title of the story describe the prince as happy? I'm going to play the video. Ready? Here we go.
The Happy Prince. Once there was a statue of a prince. It was a statue with a ruby in his sword. It was a statue with emerald eyes. It was a statue with golden clothes. One day, on the way south, a swallow stopped by the statue. He was tired and sleepy. So he spent one night on the statue. The next morning, the swallow saw something strange. The prince was crying.
What's the matter with you?
The prince said,
I see a little boy sick in bed. He has no mommy. He has no food. Can you take my ruby to the boy, please?
The swallow felt sorry and he said,
I will.
The swallow took the ruby. He flew to the boy, and he dropped it on the boy's bed. The swallow felt great, and he said,
Get well soon.
The next morning, the prince said,
I see a young man crying on a bench. He wants to be a painter. However, he has no money to buy the paint. Can you take my eye to the young man, please?
The swallow had to leave soon, but he said,
I will go.
He took the emerald. He flew to the young man, and he left it by the young man on the bench. The swallow felt great, and he said,
Be a great painter.
The next day, the prince said,
I see a little girl selling matches in the street. However, she has no coat or shoes. She has no one to take care of her. Can you take my other eye to the girl?
It was getting cold. The swallow was late to leave, but he said,
I will.
The swallow took the emerald. He flew to the match girl, and he left the emerald in the girl's basket. The swallow saw the girl smiling, and he said,
I am so happy.
The prince had no eyes anymore. The swallow felt sorry for the prince. So he said,
I can't leave you. I'll stay here with you.
From that day on, the swallow became the eyes for the prince. Every morning, the swallow looked over the town. When he saw someone who needed help, he told the prince. He took part of the gold from the prince, and he gave it to those who were in need. A cold, cold winter came. Now the prince had nothing to share, and the swallow died in peace underneath the prince. The people in town buried the swallow, broke up the statue, and put the statue into the fire. The prince and the swallow passed away. However, their beautiful hearts got together in heaven, and they lived happily ever after.
A very touching story, right? Both the prince and the swallow were heroes. The prince gave out all his valuables, and the swallow gave out his life to help the sick and the poor. You may have jotted down some new words which are not exactly the same as mine. It is fine. I'm going to read them twice. Statue, statue. Emerald, emerald. Ruby, ruby. Painter, painter. Match, match. Died in peace, died in peace. Underneath, underneath. Bury, bury. Students can have different answers for the two questions. The answers here are just for reference. You may want to fill in the blanks. Number 1. Why did the prince statue cry so often? It was because the prince felt sorry for a sick boy who had no mother or food, a poor young man who had no money to buy the paint to learn to be a painter, and a poor girl who had no coat and shoes. Number 2. Why does the title of the story describe the prince as happy? The prince was happy because he could help those who were in need and make them happy. This is the end of the lesson. See you. Fill in the blanks with the following words: cold, need, great things, sick, sad, seemed, world. The prince looked around and saw the world. There was a boy who seemed very sick. There was a man who seemed very sad. There was a girl who seemed very cold. There were people who need help. Helping was a great thing to do.